Welcome to Double Fries No Slaw. It is Sunday. We're at March 20th. We're in the heat of March Madness, Richie, which I want to talk with you about a little bit later in the episode. But how you doing today, man? How's your weekend so far?
Good, man. It's been a lot of just me sitting on the couch watching college basketball. Intentionally went into work about 5 a.m. Friday, so I was home by 2. Just watching all these games. St. Peter's, man, the Cinderella, we got one. I'm excited about that. But like you said, we'll get into that a little bit later. But yeah, yesterday and when we get off here today, it's all about March Madness for me, man.
It's a fantastic time of year. Um, it's my favorite 4 days of sports of anything. Like 4 consecutive days. I mean, it's not even really close. Like the Masters to me is the only thing that could maybe be somewhat close, just because like bowl season, like it's never 4 days in a row, and
Nah.
bowls suck anyway now. And NFL, like you'll have like Saturday, Sunday, playoffs and stuff like that's fun, but this is the best. And then like even the Masters. I know you're a big Masters fan. I'm not trying to get you to go golf versus basketball, but like I'm watching on Thursday, but like I'm not hyped up on Thursday at the Masters like I am for Thursday of like 16 games from noon to midnight or 1 a.m. Like there's just something special about this tournament. And so, yeah.
So if I had to rank them, Sunday of the Masters to me is the best sporting event of the year. But I agree, this weekend, Thursday through Saturday, is the best 4 days you'll ever find, because I'm the guy that's watching on my phone, seeing what Brooks Koepka's doing on Thursday at 18 a.m. on the Masters. But these 4 days, everyone's watching, right? No one's taking off work for Thursday and Friday of the Masters. Some people might, but it's actually they do perform the most vasectomies this week of any week of the year, because men plan for that around this tournament, and man, it's delivered so far, and I'm loving it.
That's hilarious. That first of all, that is a stat. Second of all, that that stat, that's a published stat, like everything else. Like that's freaking amazing. So, well, we'll talk about March Madness here in just a minute. Appreciate you for joining us. Appreciate it if you're listening back later on iTunes, Spotify. If you are, we haven't plugged this in a while, but give us a 5-star rating. Click on the app and give us a thumbs up, or just, wherever you're subscribed, give us some love if you enjoy the content. If you don't enjoy the content, still do it, right? You can write mean things in the comments, but please hit the 5-star button and give us some love there. Double Fries No Slaw, brought to you by Guthrie's in Tallahassee. You can visit both their locations at 1818 West Tennessee Street and 2550 North Monroe. We are definitely doing a tailgate for the spring game. If you guys came out for the Notre Dame game, the chicken tenders and the sauce were absolutely plentiful. We had more sauce. We had enough sauce in that Notre Dame game to last the entire season, but the good people at Guthrie's did not want us to go lacking, and we will make sure that we have plenty of gut sauce and chicken for you guys out there at the tailgate. So stay tuned on details for that over the next little bit. Going to be in that same area. Everybody's welcome. We hope to have a good time there before the spring game. Speaking of that as well, we had a couple of pop-up episodes this week. So if you didn't get a chance to go check those out, we had Amy Bond, the FSU women's golf head coach, on. Spoke with her about Guthrie's, spoke with her about some other stuff going on as well. And then Lauren Ryan, who is with FSU track competing. She competed, I believe she's done now, at the at the World Indoor Championships over in Serbia this week. Ran really well. So go check out both of those episodes if you haven't seen or heard them yet. All right, Richie, some big news. I'll kind of start us here. Big news for FSU. Spring football is back this week. Obviously, we talked about the spring break pause that would be happening last week. So not a ton of news as far as football goes. There is a lot of recruiting stuff that you can kind of get into and jump into if you're not already. We didn't cover a ton of that this week. Our recruiting guy, Dane Draper, happy birthday, Dane, turned 21. It was on a cruise, so we didn't have a ton of recruiting coverage for you guys, and I'm not going to spend a bunch of time. There were no commits, just a bunch of visits, not a lot of news out of it other than kids saying, oh, yeah, they lead, or it was a good visit, this, that, and the other, kind of your normal visit high stuff. Obviously, the guys at Knowles 247 do a great job, so you can go check that out if you want some more in-depth of who was on campus, who visited, who didn't, who came through to Tallahassee. But spring football, spring practice gets going back again this week. Not like we said, not a lot of news, not a lot around that, but it'll be nice to start getting some spring practice updates, right? Like we all enjoy seeing those videos, Richie, like while we're avoiding work and on our cell phones or computers in the office. Are you ready to see the spring practice updates back in full force?
I am, and it was funny. We were actually last night just sitting on the couch in between the games. The wife was just searching YouTube and found the climb video series, which the Boosters does, and it's
Really
phenomenal. And she actually was the one who said, "Hey, do you want to watch this?" I didn't even have to say it, and we watched it. And the production value is really good for a state university just putting it together for themselves. So I'm really excited. I think the break comes at a good time because okay, the players are getting acclimated. They're not really in pads. They had a few practices kind of doing thuds, but now when they come back this week, it's full go. And I'm excited to see who steps up, who doesn't. Obviously, we'll have some news from the receiver room that we'll touch on in a little bit, but opportunities for other guys to kind of come in and step up. Yeah, the pads are on and we're back full go this week. So I'm really excited. And if you're a booster, definitely check out that climb series. It's really well done.
Yeah. And if you're not a booster, today is a great day to go sign up. You can go to boosters.fsu.edu. Let me get my little plug in there. We say that and we laugh and we kind of joke, but 100%, like that's the bare minimum of supporting FSU athletics, which there's a reason you're either listening to this or watching this live right now. It's because you like FSU or you support FSU athletics or say you do, or it's probably in your bio and everything else. So I would encourage you to go to boosters.fsu.edu and sign up. They have support levels. I believe they're all the way down to like $25 a year. So $2 a month, to support FSU. If you sign up at the $70 level and above, you can purchase season tickets. You get first access to, we're all talking about going to the LSU game. Get some really neat benefits, as well as, like Richie said, that climb series that does really, really well. If you haven't, one more plug, if you haven't renewed your season tickets yet, get that done by April 15th so you don't lose your seat priority. I was talking with Josh about this the other day on the Space. I don't know if you heard it. I don't have amazing seats by any means. Like, I'm not balling like that yet, but I finally have good seats that, like, I'm not like ashamed of. Like, it's not like, can't see or, sitting next to God, way high up. So I finally have some like decent seats.
You're not next to the professor, the shirtless professor,
right?
reading the book
Taking
at the
his shirt
game.
off, reading. Don't lose your seat priority. Make sure you get your tickets renewed, your season tickets by April 15th. Don't even wait till then. Get it done before the spring game. Get that out of your mind. You can set up, I think you set up payment plans and everything else for it. So if you don't have the money all the way up front, you can set up payment plans. No big deal. Get your season tickets renewed. Go to the ticket office. Get it done. All right, let's jump into some news. This was exciting. This was a lot of fun. We talked about this on the Spaces this week. FSU's another NIL collective type fan run platform emerged this week. Warpath 850 from the folks at Dreamfield. Mackenzie Milton is very, very involved with this. That popped up this week. We had them on that went live on Wednesday, and we had a lot of people on the FSU beat. I saw that Knowles 247, War Chant, the Democrat. Obviously, with the Spaces, we talked about it. And we had Mackenzie Milton and Corey from Dreamfield on. But Warpath850.com, it is an NIL platform where the athletes will be able to engage with supporters and folks donating. Really a cool platform that, Dreamfield, everybody kind of heard about them when NIL was introduced and launched. They launched one with UCF, saw a lot of success from that. And Mackenzie Milton, hats off to him, shout out to him for continuing to use his platform to help students and student athletes in the future, though his playing days at FSU are over. Shout out to him for continuing to kind of like leave that legacy and help people in the future, and not just, it not just all be about him. And, he could be doing a million other things right now. So shout out to him, but a really cool platform that you guys should go check out. If you go to my page or go to patreon.com/FSU Spaces. You can go to that space on Wednesday where Mackenzie and Corey from Dreamfield and Warpath 850 explain the entire platform, explain what they're wanting to do with events, with exclusive chats, exclusive Discord type stuff with FSU athletes, not just football, but all FSU athletes. And something that I'm really excited for, something that, again, we know we had Rising Spear, but there were some definite frustrations around the lack of transparency, around the lack of understanding what all Rising Spear would accomplish, and there's no player engagement with Rising Spear. Hopefully that's something that's coming. I've heard that that's something that's in the works, but a nice alternative, a nice option for fans that do want to give directly to these athletes and have that player/fan engagement. So a really, really cool platform. Richie, what were your thoughts when you heard about Warpath 850 coming out this week?
Yeah, I think signing day was kind of a wake-up call for all of us that we need to be doing what we can in this name, image, and likeness era to try and benefit Florida State, the team in the school that we all cheer for every Saturday, that we love. And I love that Mackenzie Milton, it's obviously we don't care about the team down in Coral Gables, but he kind of started this thing with Derek King, and that's pretty cool. They started it off in Orlando with UCF. At least Mackenzie, that's where his focus was, listening to the spaces. But bringing it to Tallahassee is awesome. It's a really easy, really user-friendly website. You can sign up for as little as $10 a month. And they're going to have private events all over the state: Jacksonville, Orlando, Tampa, Miami, Tallahassee, you name it. I'm excited to go to one of these events. And, if you're like TJ, you're a big baller, you can go Renegade level $200 a month. But there's options for everybody, anywhere from 10, 25, 50, 200. I'm sure they'll take custom levels as well. But I'm excited because the players, again, we're trying to take care of not just football players. What I love about this podcast, we have athletes from all sports on here. We just had someone going to try and be an Olympian for Australia last week. People like those will be supported. Imagine, some of these athletes and what they're going to make. I'm all in. I love it. I signed up at the Tomahawk $25 a month level, and who knows, I may bump it up. We'll see.
You say balling like me, and look at Richie. Look at my background here, and look at Richie's background. Like, he's got the whole man. Like, Richie's the one balling on this show. I mean, nobody's balling like Harlan is, which we'll check in with him a little bit later. But Richie and I are trying over here. So now I would encourage you, like I said, it's free there. You don't have to sign up for Patreon or anything like that. But if you go to patreon.com/FSU Spaces, it's we recorded one on Friday too. So it's not the most recent one, but it's the second most recent one, whatever Wednesday's date was, the 16th, I think. So It's 316 Spaces, and it says Warpath right on the title. Go check that out. Go listen to that. Because it's Mackenzie Milton and Corey from Dreamfield and Warpath 850 talking about their vision, their platform, what it's going to be used for. I'm excited. They're going to do some stuff around the spring game. I've been chatting with them and been talking with them. We'll get them on here to talk about it as well. But excited to be able to support FSU student athletes and have that interaction, that engagement with them. And I think people will really, really enjoy that. We all really enjoy. Like, how cool would it have been Wednesday night after softball ended up coming back to beat Alabama, to chat with Michaela, who hit the big home run, or to chat with Sydney, who got the last out, or to chat with Kat, who came in and was phenomenal for several innings. So anyway, that'd just be so neat. And not just softball, not just baseball, not football only, but all of the athletes to be able to kind of interact with them is really going to be neat. And so go check them out for sure. So that was some good news. I wouldn't call this bad news, but maybe a little bit of sad news. We'll maybe get to some bad news here in a minute, but some sad news. It's like you're happy for the guy, but you're also selfish and you don't like it. Gene Deckerhoff retiring after the spring game this year. That came out of absolutely nowhere. Maybe he was considering it, maybe he knew it, but literally just on the timeline, and CFSU puts out a press release, or actually it was an article, not just a press release, but puts out an article that Gene Deckerhoff retiring after the spring game, which, so we've got like less than a month left. Gene obviously the voice of FSU, best play-by-play guy that ever lived. Calls the play-by-play for both the Bucks and the Seminoles, and has for years. I believe 43 years as the voice of the Seminoles. But I saw something that said that even a few years before that, he was kind of the color commentary guy for local radio. He's been in Tallahassee longer than Bobby had been. I believe Bobby Bowden moved into Gene Deckerhoff's house. I think I've heard that story back in the day. So Bobby Bowden's first house, like Gene Deckerhoff had lived there before. So anyway, an absolute legend. Always took time for anyone and everyone. We had him on the roll-up at one time. He was fantastic. He's the nicest guy ever and has some truly iconic calls. Now, I am not, I feel like we're losing all our heroes here, but I am not ready to hear FSU games that are not called by Gene Deckerhoff. Like, I'll tell you, so when we had just moved in to our house, I was working like crazy. We laid like 2,000 square foot of flooring, and there was a lot of painting and different things that had to be done. And so like, it was just like nonstop work. So I had the FSU North Carolina game on TV, but I'm working, I'm not able to watch it and stuff. So I had to run up to the hardware store several times. And I legitimately, I listened to Deckerhoff and we started winning. And so I got back home and I just sat in my car and just kept listening to Deckerhoff. Like, I didn't even come back in because I didn't want to not be able to hear what he was saying or have to focus on laying floor and stuff. And so an absolute legend that will truly, truly be missed. And like I said, happy for him that he's going to be able to take a little time for his family, his friends, and, not have to entertain us for years. But a little bit sad, a little bit upset about this news. Richie, what were your thoughts when you saw that Gene's hanging up the mic?
First of all, what the coolest job in the world, right? You call Florida State games on Saturdays and Tampa Bay games on Sundays or Monday or Thursday, whatever night they may play.
I mean, there's been some times where I'm sure that wasn't the coolest job, just to be fair.
At times,
I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
And he is literally
he's called Super Bowls and natties and everything.
Yeah, he is incredible. The nicest guy. The first time I met him, I remember, was actually when I was on the Noles Zone board of directors when I was a student. We got invited to the basketball postseason banquet, and he was, hosting it. He was throwing him back. His wife was there having a good time. Such a nice guy. And then ran into him. I posted this on Twitter yesterday, I think it was. But yeah, I ran into him at the team hotel lobby bar in Pittsburgh the night before Jameis's debut. And I just was just shooting the breeze with him and Rashad Green, who was down there as well, just hanging out before the game. Rashad was not drinking, guys, but Gene and I were. But yeah, his calls are iconic, and it's weird because our entire lives, TJ, it's literally since the day we've been born, he's been the voice of the Seminoles, and now we will have a new one. You think of the iconic ones, the Ricks to PK Sam, we had them on the podcast last year. That's one that will live on forever. My favorite Gene call ever might be when Michael Snare hit the game winner against Duke, when he's, the Noles win, the little team that could just did. Just because it was so organic and you could tell he wasn't prepared. He just said whatever came to his mind. And I'm happy for him. I'm happy that he's going to stay on with the Bucks through the end of his contract. He did say he hopes to call one more Super Bowl. So, hopefully if the Bucks can make some more moves in free agency, we'll see that. But it's just an absolute legend. And it's going to be weird hearing anyone other than Gene Deckerhoff when they post the radio clips of Florida State highlights moving forward.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, like you said, some absolutely iconic calls. I mean, you think about the Snoop Minnis, 98-yard touchdown. You think about the Leroy Butler, the Potruski. You think about
Kermit's touchdown against Auburn.
So many in that, right? Jameis's touchdown there. When Telvin makes the tackle at the end of the championship against Auburn there. When Carlos ran in against Clemson and he says, dance to the war chant, and the walk-off there was fantastic. The Hail Mary to Kenny Shaw, man, he had so many. There were, we could literally just do an entire episode on some of his calls. Harlan sent me an audio file earlier this week, and he used to call. I mean, called everything. He called baseball back in the day, and so he's got some cool baseball calls and stuff, some walk-offs, and man, yeah, there's the catch that P-Dub made in the national championship where he got interfered with, and man, like I said, we'll go on forever, and I'll try and shut up and wrap this up here in a minute, but he was fantastic. I think about the Super Bowl. I've heard his calls from the last Super Bowl that the Bucs won, but just that iconic call in the Super Bowl when Brooks took the touchdown back. I believe so we won that by 27. I think we were only up by 13 when Brooks took his touchdown back. And I think that makes sense because Brooks took his back to take it to 20.
Yeah.
And then another touchdown. Or maybe we only went by 12 or something. But it was close enough, right? Like there were like 3 minutes left and 2-score game and crazier things have happened. And so Brooks takes it back for a touchdown, which what a cool moment for Gene, for an FSU alum to do that. But and he says, there it is, the dagger's in, the Bucs are going to win the Super Bowl. And it was just like, we had the TV turned down that night in my house and had the radio up. And it was just that realization of like, holy crap, we are about to win the Super Bowl, called his shot right there with the Bucs going up 3 scores. So really, really sad, but cool. I'm going to have to figure out a way to like pipe in some audio because I want to hear him call the spring game while I'm up there in Tallahassee. But no, just an absolute legend. We'll get him on the pod soon enough. Maybe let him enjoy a little vacation before we do. But an absolute legend and really, like I said, happy but sad at the same time because that kind of sucks.
You're going to have people that have been going to games literally for 40 years that have the radio headset so they can listen to Gene while they're watching the game in the stadium, and they're going to be lost this year. And I never did that, but I always said I wanted to, and now I wish I had been one of those guys that had just the radio that just has the FM feed to the game so you can hear everything that's going on, injury updates, all that stuff, but more importantly hear Gene. And that's gone now, and that sucks, but you should definitely do that for the spring game, TJ, when you head up there.
Yeah. Whew. I'm not ready. I'm emotional about this. I'm not ready to keep talking about it, but we'll keep talking about like our favorite Gene moments and memories and stuff. If you have a second, go to youtube.com after the show. Please don't divert your eyes, but go to YouTube and just type in Gene Deckerhoff best calls. And there's some really good stuff there. Some of that old Peter Warwick stuff used to just be absolutely fantastic. And he calls the Dion interception against Auburn in the 89 Sugar Bowl, I think. So yeah, some absolutely spectacular stuff. So check that out for sure.
Real quick, I do love. So one of my good friends that after I graduated, he was in Tallahassee. He went to law school there, and saw Gene's truck, and his license plate just says "Voice," which is just the biggest flex ever. I love that.
I've got a funny Gene story, then we'll move on. We met him. I'm like a super fan. Like I was a super fan of Gene Deckerhoff. And so we met him outside of Raymond James. I had sent him a message and said like, hey, I'd love to meet you. This is probably like, man, we were probably dating at this point. I don't even think we were married. Or we had just got, I think we were dating. It's like
not me and TJ here, just for clarification.
I think they knew. But I met up, or I sent him a message through his website and said like, hey, I'd love to just meet you and like take a picture. Like I've listened to you for FSU and the Bucs for so long. I'd love to just meet up. And he was like, absolutely. Here's where I walk in. Here's what time I walk in. You'd be there then. So we were going to the Bucs game that weekend, went and met up with him and got a picture and stuff. And so I said, do you mind if we talked for like 5 minutes, got a picture. And he said, do you mind if I take a picture with her? And he pointed at Kara. And I was like, yeah. And he was like, yeah, good. Cause she's way better looking than you anyway. And I don't want to take a picture with just you. So anyway, like he was absolutely hilarious too. Obviously had a ton of wit to be able to, do what he did for years and years and stuff. So I don't know. He was a great guy, or still is a great guy, but great guy. His also last thing, I keep saying last thing with Gene, but Go find Gene talking about, like after Bobby had passed, go find the video of Gene talking about him. I think Ryan Kelly and WCTV there in Tallahassee has it. It was, man, it was rough. It was rough to get through. Some of it was funny, but you could tell how much he meant to him and stuff. And like, those are, Gene has told the story of Tallahassee, of FSU football and FSU athletics for years and years and years. And nobody's ever done it better. There's never been a better play-by-play guy in the history of athletics. I don't care if you believe that or not. That's the fact. And so shout out Gene Deckerhoff on your retirement. I'm going to listen to all the Bucks games this year. I'm not going to watch because I got to hear the play-by-play one more year. So, all right, that's all I got on Gene. We'll talk about him as we continue to go on through the rest of the season, the rest of the year. Talk to people that he's done iconic calls for. That'd be cool. Talk with people that have gone back and listened to his call later. That'll be kind of a neat thing to do. Some sad news, some bad news, some thankful news a little bit. Winston Wright injured in a car accident during spring break. FSU transfer wide receiver from West Virginia. Injured in a car accident. Nobody in his car, his car not at fault. It was the car that hit him. Don't think there was anything like malicious going on. I think just truly an accident, but ended up having to have surgery. Obviously out for the rest of the spring. I think this is public knowledge, but had a broken leg, ended up having to have surgery. Not a real clear timetable on his recovery, but is recovering and doing well. And thank God that he's okay. Did have to be literally extracted from the car. And so could have been a lot worse than what it is. No real timetable on his return or recovery. From what I've heard, it would be pretty spectacular if he was able to make it back. So I don't know. I think that it really puts you behind the 8-ball because if nothing else, he's at least missing the entire spring. And a broken leg, a recovery from a broken leg is just not a super quick thing typically. I mean, you can just Google how long that recovery is, and I don't have to kind of be the bearer of bad news here today. So not sure if we'll have him in the fall. My gut would say probably not. At the end of the day, he's okay, physically. Like, he's not dead. So I think there are some positives to take, but not the best news for FSU. But fortunately, did take a lot of transfer wide receivers. So this will kind of give other people an opportunity to step up. Again, what's most important is that he's okay, and that he's not dead, and that nobody he was with is dead either. Thank God.
Yeah, like we saw, the tragic news out of Texas with the golf team that, there's an accident where there were several fatalities. So, obviously, we're a Florida State sports podcast, so we look at it from a football standpoint. But like you said, it's the good thing for him is that he's okay. He's going to be fine. He may or may not be able to play this year. But that's not the important part. Obviously, I think it offers opportunities for other receivers to kind of step up because, we talked about him. I thought he was one of the guys that really could have been wide receiver 1, in my opinion. But again, he is okay. It's, it's a unfortunate accident back in his hometown. Like you mentioned it, and I want to be clear on that. There's no funny business, malicious activity or anything going on, just a true auto accident that people deal with. But we'll see what the room looks like and what happens there. But like you mentioned, he's, it may or may not be available this fall, and probably not, maybe at some point in the season, but definitely glad he's okay. That's the most important thing. But now that you look at a guy like Malik McClain, Pokey Wilson, the guys that have been here, that do they step up now? We'll see. It feels weird transitioning from, a pretty serious car crash to what it means on football field, but that's kind of what we're here for.
Yeah, no. And again, we recognize and understand that what's most important is that he is okay and that his life is continuing, because it could have been a lot worse. But at the end of the day, it is something that Florida State's going to have to figure out, and something that they're going to have to come back from. And so we'll see how they do that. There's other guys, that are there that will need to step up. I don't know that this changes a win total. I do think that it is significant to lose the guy that was probably going to be your best, most proven wide receiver this year, but you lost him early. And so it wasn't like losing him, week 0 or in the middle of fall. You've got other guys will now get time and get more reps because he's not there. And so we'll see who can kind of step up, or if anybody does step up, if that's, Pittman's made a lot of noise. Wilson's made a lot of noise. You've got Helton, you've got different guys that are coming back. And so we'll kind of see what happens. But at the end of the day, most important that he is good, more than anything else. So, all right, transition. There's no easy way to transition off of that, but prayers up to him, his, all those involved. We wish everybody involved a speedy recovery, because again, that's certainly what's most important. All right, we haven't talked about this a ton on here, I don't think, or else I may have just been kind of sleepwalking through the last episode. But Jarvis Brownlee, there's been some news around him. We talked about it on the Spaces a ton. He sent out a tweet, I guess, the other day. Did you see what the tweet said?
So just to give some quick background, a week or two ago, he tweeted out or put on his Instagram story, whatever these kids are using these days. I don't know. Something about no NIL deals at Florida State. Clearly, voicing his displeasure with not having NIL deals. Spring break, he went back home to Miami and he posted again, said something along the lines of, back in Miami where I'm wanted or where I'm liked, a subtle shot at Florida State. Then last week posted a video of a UF workout, said, why don't we have the energy like this? And then his tune changed out of nowhere, TJ. I think you saw it. He tweeted something, but he had the hashtag climb. I think he said feeling blessed, ready to climb or something like that.
Yeah, with maybe the emoji or something. That has since been deleted.
Oh, I did not know
which
that.
Is fun. No. So anyway,
I can't keep up.
Really no clue what's kind of going on with that situation. Not really sure why he hasn't been with the team. He hasn't been practicing. We don't know why. There was some speculation or some rumor around the fact that it was, NIL specific related. And I'm not saying that NIL can't play into it, because Jarvis is the one that literally said that. But yeah, I have no idea what the situation is here, what's going on here, why we're having such a struggle with this, but hopefully they get it figured out. I mean, at the end of the day, Jarvis Brownlee, it would be a contributor on this team. But at the same time, if he's going to be a distraction, his worth is not high enough to allow a distraction to continue. It is kind of my take on that, right? Like, I do think he can come in. I do think he can make an impact. I do think he can be a contributor in Florida State's secondary this year. That said, there becomes a point where his worth is not worth the distraction. It's in sports, it's trying to get through that.
Yeah, well, in sports, especially in the professional level, and let's not pretend college football is not, a farm league of NFL. Do your talents outweigh your issues? That's what it comes down to. If the answer is yes, there's a reason Antonio Brown keeps getting chances, time and time again, because he's that good. And like you said, Jarvis Brownlee played a lot of snaps last year. He's a solid player, and he could definitely help contribute to this team. But if he's spending his spring break trying to troll Florida State and his teammates and his coaches, whatever he's doing, at that point, he's 21, 22 years old. There's a maturity level that I would expect from that. And if he's mad about name, image, and likeness, I don't know. Like you mentioned, if he was Derwin James caliber, yeah, you tend to put up with it. But no, he's the guy that gave up the touchdown to Jacksonville State. I don't know if you bring him back at this point. Like you said, I thought when we saw the tweet yesterday with the climb that Mike smooth things over. You said it's deleted now. I don't even know. At this point, I don't want to have to spend that much time on, an okay defensive back when you have a lot of talent in that room. Like you mentioned, you just don't need the distraction. I'm not saying Mike needs to kick him off the team or anything like that. I'm saying they need to figure out what's going on with him and address it and come to a final decision one way or the other, whether that means he's all in back on the team or he moves on.
Yeah, what's tough to know is he's doing all this right now, and he's not even with the team, right? So we're saying, oh, if he had this level of talent, or if he was this big of a contributor, or this, that, and the other. Well, he's not a contributor at all right now, because he's not with his teammates, and so, and obviously we don't know why that is. Florida State hasn't made that info available, so
still on the official roster, so he's still with the team.
There's obviously something that's gone on to where he's not with the team. And so again, how much of a distraction are you willing to put up with? I don't know. There's not really a right answer there. It's not my decision. You're not going to kick a guy off the team for Instagram posts or being, a little immature on social media. But at the same time, I don't know why he's suspended right now. The Instagram post, the crying out seems to be a reaction to why ever he's out, right? Complaining about NIL seems to be a reaction to whatever's got him suspended right now from being able to be with the team. So frustrating to see. Hopefully something that's cleared
to figure that out.
So hopefully something that's cleared up this week so that it can stop being a distraction, right? Good or bad, right? Whether you're going to be bought in,
get some finality to it. Yeah.
So, okay. Something that there's not finality to, but that there should be in 2.5 weeks is this March Madness bracket that you and I have figured out. How is your bracket so far?
I'm in the 18th percentile of ESPN. So I had a really bad first few days, but my entire Elite Eight and Final Four remains intact. So I actually had Purdue coming out of the Kentucky Baylor region. I feel really good about that now. St. Peter's obviously wrecked a ton of brackets, but I love it. I'm here for that. That's the storylines we love in March Madness. You got a 15 seed heading to the Sweet 16. My bracket is shot entirely. My knockout pool, I've been eliminated twice now from that. Not great from a pick standpoint. I've not bet on any single game yet. That's going to change today. I think I'm going to bet on some of these games. See, Houston got on Illinois a little early right now, but yeah, my bracket's shot. It's not good, but I do have a chance to come back later. Again, my entire Elite Eight still remains intact.
Cool. Yeah, so my Elite Eight, I have 6 of them. I had Baylor and Kentucky. Who'd you have beating Baylor?
I believe I had Purdue beating Baylor.
No. Purdue would have been in the Elite Eight.
All right,
like they were. That was an Elite Eight matchup. So yeah, I'll tell you mine real quick. I lost Kentucky and Baylor. I don't think that's a super big shock. I think I had Purdue beating Baylor. Yeah. Oh, so you did have Baylor in the Elite Eight. You said you didn't have. So your Elite Eight's not in.
Oh, as of last night, yeah. So Baylor's out. So I have 7 of 8 left.
So I have 6 of 8 because I also had Kentucky. But what I do feel is I know people will have had Purdue there, so those people. But like by Baylor losing, it makes my Kentucky loss hurt a little bit less.
For sure,
just because more people would have Baylor. Those are easily the 2 most picked teams, and then Purdue probably third, just based on the seed. So I still have Auburn alive, which I still feel good about that. I still have Kansas. I know that they haven't looked like world beaters by any means, but that's my champion, so I need them to keep winning. I still have Arizona, still have Villanova. I have Houston in that game you just mentioned. Gonzaga and Duke, I still have. Arkansas, I got right. So I'm doing okay. I have a possibility of 3 of 4 Final Fours. My championship game is still intact. I think I can go 7-1 today. Like, it is possible. Like, the only game that I can't get right today is I had Bama beating Texas Tech. So I'd probably rather Notre Dame just keep winning there because I don't know how many people would have Notre Dame in the Sweet 16. But, man, some fun games. That Gonzaga game, did you stay up last night? Gonzaga game was fantastic. So many good games. I tweeted this too. The first round has a lot of like really thrilling upsets. And I think that we love the first round for that. But I think the second round, like the Saturday, Sunday of this weekend, has the best percentage of like good games. Because you get rid of a lot of the 16 seeds, you get rid of a lot of the all the 16s and a lot of the 15s, you get rid of all the blowouts. But yesterday, North Carolina Baylor was fantastic. Kansas Creighton was great. Memphis Gonzaga was a 4-point game. The Arkansas New Mexico State game was really good. St. Peter's and Murray State was really, really good. So I don't know. I'm hoping for some really good games today as well. I think that Michigan State Duke will be fun. I think Miami Auburn will be fun. Texas Purdue should be a ton of fun. So this is, again, we talked about it earlier in the year. This is my favorite like little weekend as far as sports go.
Yeah.
This is so much fun.
Well, to put it in perspective, the biggest spread today, I'm on Bovada right now, is Arizona favored by 9.5. Everything else is 3, 5.5, 4.5. You have 8 in Texas Tech and Notre Dame, but all these spreads are really tight. Not a single double-digit spread. Today's action, it's going. We're going to have some really good games, and they don't pay us, but I want to shout them out. DirecTV, they have the Sports Mix channel. It's like 205. Where you can watch 4 games at once. You can control the audio just pushing the arrow buttons up and down. That has been a godsend for me these past few days.
I sat out on the back porch last night. I don't smoke cigars often just because I'm not really a cigar guy, but I do have them from time to time. But I poured a little bourbon. Shout out Bourbon on a Budget. I smoked a cigar. And I watched 3 games at once. It was absolutely fantastic. My back porch is my favorite part of my house. Like, it's not even close. The kids were down. We grilled steaks last night. Like, it was just a great night and really good basketball going on all over. And so had fun with it, enjoyed it. And I'm excited to do it all over again tonight.
Right.
So fun stuff. We'll talk more March Madness as we continue on and as the tournament progresses. But no, it's been a ton of fun so far. All right, we'll go around the horn real quick. I'm going to add in Harlan real quick just because we're going to add him, but we're going to mute him because it's kind of loud where he is. But we just kind of Harlan wanted to flex from literally Coach Martin's office. Baseball game going on right now. Team's down 1-0 to NC State. Way too loud. Harlan couldn't talk, couldn't say anything, but live from Coach Martin's office. Shout out Harlan with his old logo on. Harlan, go get some brisas because that's what you need to do. Go get some empanadas, or I'll just tell those people to bring you some because they're good people. So shout out Harlan. Speaking of old logo, before we talk baseball, Richie, have you seen the vault stuff that Garnet and Gold has?
Oh yeah.
Do you like you have a little bourbon glass, right? Like he sent you a rocks glass or whatever.
Yeah, they sent me a wine glass and a bourbon glass, and I've used both since I've had them.
Same time, double fist those. I need that picture for social media. I need you to fill up with wine and fill up with bourbon and like give your wife the wine glass. But I need that picture.
Make a mimosa when I hop off here and put it in there.
My man, let's go. So Richie's gonna be hammered by the 9:00 game tonight. But shout out Garnet and Gold. They have an entire vault section that a lot of people don't know about. It's actually kind of shocked me that people don't know about this, but team old logo people, team keep this chief people, team like I love the FSU like interlocking. Go to garnetandgold.com, get you some vault gear. You can use code NOSLAW, that's NOSLAW, fits the show, no spaces, and you'll get 20% off your order. It counts for everything except for autograph stuff or diploma frames. I'd imagine the people on here are not buying diploma frames anyway, but no autograph stuff, but literally everything else. 20% off using code NOSLAW. Support a family-owned, FSU-supported business. Has employed thousands of FSU students over the years and isn't run by Gators. Like I know Fanatics has the NIL stuff going on, but they're a Gator-run business. Like stop buying at Fanatics. Go to Double Fries. Go to garnetandgold.com. No Slaw is the code, and you get 20% off your order. Also, those baseball and softball shirts they dropped, I know Harlan's out of the baseball game, are so fire. They're not even funny. The gold, I know both teams are wearing the Sunday golds today. Baseball looks like baseball's doing garnet top gold pants. That's kind of different. I like that. But I think we got Sunday golds coming up for the second baseball game. I'm hoping so. Both teams playing a doubleheader today. So check out garnetandgold.com. Appreciate their support. Appreciate all they do. Man, my wife's going to kill me for how much I'm going to get from Garnet and Gold, but No Slaw is the code. Okay, baseball. The game against UF got postponed this week due to weather. So we didn't end up getting to beat the Gators this week, but that will happen later on in the year. So we'll beat them later. Not going to happen this week, though, unfortunately. Baseball did beat the heck out of NC State. Shout out Hunter, who is probably upset watching this right now. Beat him by like 1 million yesterday. So that was a lot of fun. Softball won as well yesterday. Beach volleyball won both of their matches. Swimming and diving broke a whole bunch of FSU records and their last day of competing. Outdoor track got underway yesterday. So a ton going on with FSU athletics. Men's and women's tennis is playing right now. The men's are currently competing in the doubles. They've got a slight lead. Hopefully they can hold on to that. I'm watching right now. Yeah, they won the doubles point, and they're on to singles against Louisville. The women take on Virginia Tech, getting started here in just a few minutes. And then baseball and softball are currently competing right now. Baseball's down 1-0. Softball is tied at 0. Both games just got underway. So, and both those teams have double headers. So you can follow all of that. Go to Seminoles.com for the latest, or follow the official team accounts to kind of see what's going on through each of those. I'd really like some sweeps today. Give me both the tennis squads to win.
Yes.
Give me both the softball and baseball to get the double header sweeps as well. Whew, I'm out of breath there, but I think that's all I've got. Oh, go to doublefriesnoslaw.com, and Mike Ferguson does a great job of keeping you updated with everything that's going on a daily basis with FSU. Hat tip to the women's basketball team. Finished up their season on Thursday with a loss to Missouri State, but a good year. A ferocious climb, no pun intended, to steal from Coach Norvell, but a ferocious climb over the last 10 games to go 7-3, make the tournament, and get into the big dance. Season fell a little bit short of what they wanted, but a great year regardless. Can't wait to see them back on the court in November. Speaking of court, a former Knoll. You got some news on a former Knoll in the pros that you wanted to bring up today.
Yeah, just felt he was in pretty good company. Scotty Barnes over in Toronto had a heck of a game the other night. He joined a guy named LeBron James and Blake Griffin as the only rookie since 2000 to have a 30-point, 15-rebound, 5-assist game. He's been dominating lately. He's averaging over 18 points a game since the All-Star break. Every bit of what Toronto thought they were getting when they drafted him. Love seeing that. I'm going to have to buy his jersey, TJ, because I just love what he's doing. And you probably saw it. I know you're a Lakers LeBron guy, but when LeBron was falling out of bounds and trying to peg Scotty right in the stomach right there, LeBron looked like he was ready for Scotty to get in his face, and Scotty was just kind of cool, calm, collected, walked away like, yeah, no big deal. Love what he's doing in the league. I think he has a chance to be a superstar for a long time because his rookie season has not disappointed.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've really enjoyed watching Scotty this year. I mean, most people don't get in LeBron's face, though. So, like, I don't know too many people in the league. I'd play it like that, too, whether I was upset or not.
Got into it. Went up to him a little bit the other day.
Yeah, I'm not. LeBron could do most things to me. I'd be like, that's yours, King, bro. What am I going to do? But, no, Scotty's awesome, man. I'm super excited for him. He is absolutely the truth, and excited for how good he's been this year. Is he the favorite to win Rookie of the Year?
I don't think so.
Who's the Rookie of the Year this year? LeBron said he thinks Scotty should win it.
Was that a real quote? Because I saw someone posted and said Sports Center ran with my fake quote. So it looks like Evan Mobley with Cleveland's the odd-on favorite right now. Cade Cunningham, Detroit. Evan Mobley's minus 900 over in Cleveland. Cade Cunningham, Detroit's plus 550. Scotty's plus 700. So, I mean, minus 900 is a massive odds, right?
Yeah. A lot of time to go, so that could change if Scotty kind of keeps it up. But, yeah, that's pretty stark there. I don't follow the NBA enough to know, like, Mobley and them in Cleveland.
I don't follow the Rookie of the Year chase.
Yeah, I kind of follow what our Knowles do. I kind of watch the big games, like, you know, when Golden State plays Milwaukee, and then I watch the Lakers. Like, that's all. I don't have time to watch what Cleveland and Orlando are doing on a random Tuesday.
I don't even watch every Magic game.
Yeah, I don't watch every Lakers game either because it's depressing. So good stuff for Scotty. Hopefully he continues to trend upward. He's been killing it lately. Last thing we had here on the notes, and then we can do anything else you want or get out of here. Watch some hoops. Trey Cunningham named South Region Track and Field Athlete of the Year. So he adds to his list of awards and recognition from this year. Really a fantastic way to end his career. And shout out Trey Cunningham. He was awesome when he was on here. He's been fun on social media, interacting with us, saying he'd go get double fries. I actually went and got double fries.
Yeah.
And so a lot of fun. Shout out Trey. Happy for him for sure.
Definitely. It was a really cool guy on here. And again, no surprise for him to just rack up another award. It's like Jameson December back in 2013. We're just, every single award, you know who is going to.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So, okay, I don't have anything else. We probably have another pop-up coming up this week. Like I said, we had 2 last week, but I think we have 1 this week. I'll keep you guys updated, let you know if and when that's going off. So follow us on social media for all the news and info there. It's Double Fries Pod everywhere. You can search Double Fries No Slaw and you'll find us. We appreciate the interactions. If you're watching an FSU game, tag us in it. We'll share that. If you are whatever you've got going on and you got questions, whatever, you want to complain about us, we're here for it. Interact with us on social media. We enjoy it. We'll be back for a pop-up at sometime this week. I think I haven't got confirmation yet, but if not, we will see you guys on Sunday for our regularly scheduled programming. Thank you guys for hanging out. We'll see you next week. Go Noles.